Welcome to this week's Fundraising Friday. This week we're talking about collaboration and what are some of the best ways that you can collaborate. With many of us working from home right now, it becomes more complicated to try and collaborate with others using technology rather than being able to walk over to their desk and just ask them a question. The key to effective collaboration, no matter how you're doing it or what medium you're using, is communication. You want frequent, specific, and personal communication to make sure that the person you're talking to understands what you're asking of them and you understand what they're asking of you. Couple of ways that you can do this. First of all, be very specific. Don't assume that when you say, hey, I need this next week, that you mean Monday, because Friday is next week too. Tell them specifically, I need this by 5 o'clock on Monday, and here's why. That way, they have a very clear deadline, and you're not both thinking that the other one is not holding up their end of the deal. Second of all, use iMessages. iMessages are when you start a statement with, I think or I believe. So rather than saying something like, you did this wrong, if you use an iMessage, you would say something like, I was thinking you were going to do it this way, or I've always done it this way. It is face-saving, and it also leads to fewer defensive responses. Next, you want a perception check. Perception check is simply asking them what they believe. So if you're saying something like, hey, I really need this next week, you might say, now to you, when is next week? Or if you're talking about what format you're going to share something in, you might say, hey, I'm using Word. Does that work for you? Or at the end of your conversation, summarize it. So here's what we agreed. You're going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and we're going to have it all together by next Monday at 5. Does that work for you? That way you're making sure what you thought and got out of the conversation is the same as what the other person did. So good luck collaborating. Soon we'll be able to be face-to-face and working in the office together, although these tips work then too. That's this week's Fundraising Friday. Thanks. Have a great weekend.